Hi, welcome to the Shelley Studio, and today I am doing a little painting for Halloween. My sisters saw a fireplace decoration and figured we should decorate that way for Halloween, and that included a centerpiece of art. So this is my attempt at that. Now, the angle and the lighting is not going to be that great. This is probably as good as it gets. Because it's a large piece, I have it up on an easel, and with the space and everything, it's just kind of tight. So I'll be panning up and down, hopefully, so you can see everything I do. And I just threw some gesso on a piece of foam core that I already had. So this is just a quick, well, sort of quick project. I did do it in one sitting. Yeah, so I can't remember exactly how many hours it took, maybe 2 or 3. And I've got it down to about 16, 17 minutes. So you can tell I'm moving fast. But like I said, I just gessoed, and the image I was trying to do had a little bit of orangish brownish tinge to it, so I tried to do a wash of that. I didn't really like it too well, and the gesso layer I put was not an even layer. Foam core is not the best substrate to use, because if you get it wet, the paper separates from the foam. And I tried a thicker layer on the other side, and the paper was separating, so I was like trying to get rid of the bubbles, and pardon my head, and just made it worse on the back side. So then I flipped it over and just did a really thin layer, so things are not laying very evenly on this because of the lack of gesso. And I wasn't really happy with the background. So I decided to take a stencil to it. I'm like, this is me. We're going to turn it into mixed media. Even though this is a landscape, we're just going to add some stencil patterns to my landscape. And I like it that way. This is all about mixed media, having fun, and just creating something interesting. So and this is just, I think on this one I'm using Liquitex paints, so they're kind of a soft body, but they're not craft paints, they're a little stiffer than that. And I'm just gonna let it play. I'll pop in every once in a while, and I hope you don't feel like you're bounced around too much. I'm sorry about the lighting. It's the best I could do with my tight little space, and I hope you keep watching. So the next part I work on is the moon, and because if you look at the moon, you can see the formations and the hills and the valleys and stuff, but I wasn't gonna like copy it exactly. I just wanted to give it some light and some dark and hope that it would resemble a moon. And then I'm gonna go around and shade, and as I'm doing this, I'm like, I have the outline of this circle in construction paper, so I'm just going to tape that on. And funny how it doesn't quite line up with my lines anymore. But I taped that on, and I use that as just a really big stencil so I can get a nice curve to my shading. So now that I've basically covered up all those spots that I put on the moon, I just shade a little bit. Well, I want to call it shading, using white paint, just to mute out some of the pattern right around the moon so that it's not as distracting and it stands out a little bit more. And now this process, I am putting a huge tree in front of the moon, of course, in a silhouette. And this part, I could have gotten into even more detail, but I felt like it was taking me forever. Hopefully it won't feel like that to you in fast forward. So looking at them now, the branches don't bother me too much, but when I was painting them, they were really bothering me. So I pulled out a brush pen and decided to get some real fine lines going and some better lines for the branches of my tree. So this next part, I'm sorry I really stick my head in here because my eyes are getting bad and I had to like see where I was drawing. I need to go to the eye doctor, get a new prescription, probably bifocals. But I really couldn't see the lines very well. So of course my nose is in there. I apologize for that. So we are adding some bats to the landscape, and I just drew these out on paper and then transferred them over because I'm not real confident. I'm not going to do it without practicing first. So that is what I did. So now that I've got them outlined, I'm just going to take the brush marker and fill them in. And this brush is really kind of frayed. I think I've used it on paintings too many times, but it works. It does have a different texture than the paint. So once I finish filling them in, or for the most part filling them in, I do take some paint and go over the top of them just to help them look more painted. So thank you for joining me and making it all the way through. Unless you just fast forwarded to the end to see the end result, which is okay. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you'd like to see more from me, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.